There's a saying that chess is 99% tactics, so I encourage chess players to practice chess tactics and to study chess tactics. Today I'm using a website called chesstempo.com, but chesskid.com is really good as well. And I'm going to show you how I think through these problems in hopes that maybe it'll help you to solve some of the problems. Now, I haven't looked at these, and it takes me a while to figure out some of these problems. So I want to see if you can try to figure them out faster than I do. So we will start here. And here it shows the bishop moved from d4 to f2. So whenever I do a tactic, the first thing I ask myself is, what's the threat? And the threat is that the queen here on c3 could move here to g3 for checkmate. So there's a one-move checkmate in this position. So I've got to do something really quick to stop the checkmate. And the only way I can stop the checkmate is to put the king on the other side in check. Do you see how I can do that? The answer is by moving the queen here on a6 to f6. And that is correct. Now again, there's a one-move checkmate for black. So I've got to keep the pressure on, or black wins the game. So I'm going to guess that putting the king in check again is the best move. And that is the best move. Now I have to keep putting the king in check, so I'm going to say that queen to f8 will be the best move. Ooh, that is not the computer's first choice. Let me check again. I see what I did. I had a checkmate in one, just right here to g8. So there we go, checkmate. Let's try another one. In this problem, the pawn moved here from h4 to h5. So what's the threat? The threat is that white is threatening to take this pawn right here, which is not a really strong threat. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to look for a way to attack the king. And I see that there is a good way to attack the king. If you look, the queen here is being backed up by the bishop, so I could just move the queen here to h3 to put the king in check. King now moves here to g1. And I see how to apply a checkmate. So keep the pressure going. Do you see how I can put the king in check again? The answer is here with the rook to e1. And that is checkmate. Next problem. Okay, the king just captured here on e5. What is the threat? I don't see any threats that black can do, so I'm going to try to attack the king first. And I see there is an attack on the king, and I actually think it's a checkmate, moving the bishop here from d8 to c7. And that is checkmate. There's no place for the king to go. Next problem. Okay, king moves to e3. What is the threat? I don't see any threats here. There's quite a few pawns, although the white pawn could take the black pawn here. I don't think that the white pawn could promote. So I'm going to guess that we need to put the king in check. And we've got a couple of pawns here, one on f5 and one on d5. I'm going to guess that we're going to use the pawn on d5 because it's being backed up by the pawn on c5. And that is correct. And now we can see that the king has now moved to d2. So now is there a way that I can attack the king again? And the answer is no. But I do see a piece that is unprotected. Do you see an unprotected piece? The correct answer is that there's an unprotected piece here on b3. So I can capture that now. And that's the correct answer. Let's move to our next problem. Okay, here the queen moves to f3. So what's the threat? The queen could capture my queen. We could trade queens. But maybe there's something better. Maybe there's a way that I can attack the king. This one's kind of an easy one. Do you see what it is? It's a one-move checkmate. There we go. Let's go on to the next problem. And again, I want to see if you can solve these faster than I can. Here, the pawn moves up to f4. Are there any threats? And the answer is no. I don't see any threats. So is there a way that I can attack the king? And I don't see any ways to attack the king. So is there a way to attack the queen? There is a way to attack the queen. I could move the pawn here to f5, which would attack the queen. Does the queen have a safe place to go? Yeah, the queen could move there. This one's going to be kind of a tough one. Are there any unprotected pieces? No, I don't see any unprotected pieces. I mean, we could take the knight, recapture, and then take a pawn, but that would be... Wait, oh no. But that would be 5 to 4. I'm going to put this on pause and think about it for a little bit. I'm not really sure what the answer is to this, so I'm going to attack the queen and see what happens. No, that was wrong. Do you have any ideas? There's something I forgot to look at, and hopefully you caught this. There's an X-ray attack. The queen here on d6 has an X-ray attack against the rook. So basically this knight here on c5 is undefended. So if I take the rook and capture the knight, it's basically like a free piece, because if the pawn recaptures, then I can take the rook. That was a tough one. Let me go to the next one. Okay, bishop captures right here. Okay. I think I may have this one. First of all, what's the threat? The bishop could move here and put me in check, but I think I've got a pretty good checkmate coming up right here. Do you see how I can put the king in check? It's with the queen here on h5. I'll move it to d1. When the queen stops, I will just put the king in checkmate. Okay, we'll do a couple more of these. Next problem. Okay, black queen captures. So what would be... Oh yeah, I see this one. First of all, is there a threat? I suppose the black queen could move here, but it's being protected. I've got a really good skewer here. Do you see how I can put the king in check and win the queen at the same time? By moving the queen here to h8. Ooh, that is not the right move. Let me check that again.